Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Market House, the podcast where we talk all things Disney. My name is Caleb, and this week we'll share the latest news coming out of the Disneyland Resort, as well as revisit some useful money-saving tips for your next Disney vacation. Let's dive in. This is episode number 50. Cannot believe we are at 50 already. I apologize, but this is going to be the last episode where Caitlin is not here hosting with me. Just the recovery from her illness, essentially, just didn't line up with podcast prep and, sitting down and recording for a while. So this will be the last week that she misses, and she will be here next week, I think, is when we will cover our Disney cruise to Alaska and how that went and all the fun things there. So again, apologize. It's just me again this week, but I know you'll hang in there with me. So this last week I spent kind of catching up on all the stuff we missed when we were out of town. So again, the first week back home, you're catching up on work and just life stuff. And then the following week, I've been able to catch up on fun things like TV shows, definitely not Disney related, but House of the Dragon is what I've been catching up on, as well as just good old Disney YouTube. So catching up on all of our favorite YouTubers and what they've been up to at the parks and all that good stuff. So it's been a good week, and Caitlin's feeling much better now. Thankful to everyone who reached out on Instagram and kind of sent your well wishes to her. That helped a lot. We appreciate the support, and we can't wait to get back to normal, just the normal recording schedule. So again, look out for our fun Disney cruise recap coming up soon. But in the meantime, let's dive into that news. First up, we've got an update on MagicBand Plus coming to Disneyland. We finally have a kind of time frame for when we should expect that. Fall 2022. So it's coming, kind of vague, but sometime in fall. I was laughing because when I saw the press release, I thought of like work. What if you told your boss, if someone asked like, hey, when are you going to have this project done? And you say, fall of 22. Give me a 3 to 4 month window there, boss, and I'll have it on your desk. So again, just it's normal Disney, just giving us a time frame. Not entirely sure when that could be, but fall 22 is when we should expect MagicBand Plus. And just a reminder for anyone that doesn't know what MagicBand Plus is, it's essentially MagicBand 2.0. So not only can it be your park ticket, your room key, your lightning lane pass is all loaded up in there, it can also interact with shows. It lights up, it vibrates. I know there's an interactive game in Galaxy's Edge that will be opening up soon in Disneyland. It's already open in Disney World, but it's some kind of bounty hunter game that you can interact with your MagicBand Plus and interact with certain stations around Galaxy's Edge. So it should be pretty fun. They're a little pricey. They're waterproof. That's kind of cool. And they also have a proprietary charging connection. So make sure you do not lose that. If the kiddos get MagicBand Plus, make sure you wrangle those up. Put them in a drawer so they don't lose that proprietary connection, because I think it's like $15 to replace. So again, if you're interested, definitely look up when it's coming, or just pay attention to Instagram. I'm sure they'll release more information there soon enough. But MagicBand Plus coming in fall 2022. Next up, we've got some news regarding Walt's apartment, but it looks like the lamp that is displayed in Walt's apartment window has been changed out yet again. So don't freak out too much. I know some people were like, how dare they take out the original lamp? It wasn't the original. It's actually located at the Walt Disney Family Museum in San Francisco. That's been there for quite a while. So the one that's been there, the one you're used to seeing, is actually not a replica, just another lamp that they've displayed. So they've changed it yet again. This one looks much more orb-like. It's very round and actually looks more like the original than the last one. So not entirely sure why they switched it out. Maybe they just do it. It's a scheduled thing, but that has changed. And our final news story takes place over in New Orleans Square, and it looks like Eudora's Chic boutique featuring Tiana's. I did it again. This is the same thing I messed up last week. Tiana's Gourmet Secrets. I really want to call Tiana Tiane. I might do it. I don't know. But it looks like it actually opens. So last week we talked about how that is an upcoming Tiana-themed store that's opening up in New Orleans Square. There will be a restaurant as well coming up soon. And of course, the re-theme of Splash Mountain will be Tiana's Bayou Adventure. But the store is the first thing to open, and it looks really cool. So it's based on Tiana's mother, who was a dressmaker. As everyone knows, we actually just watched this movie 2 nights ago. Again, it's fantastic. I love it. Raymond is the best character in the world, but it sells home decor, clothing, and more. How vague is that? But it looks really, really good inside. I've seen a couple of pictures. We'll see it in person actually here pretty soon when we leave for our trip to Disney, but it looks really, really cool. I'm excited that the Tiana takeover of Disney has started. I'm looking forward to all of the additions in the park. All right, before we dive into our main segment this week, we're doing something a little different, and we're actually going to be revisiting a previous episode on how to save money during your next Disneyland vacation. So this is an early episode. This, I think, is episode number 15. So I'll be putting that here, but I apologize in advance. This was early on. It was just me. Caitlin hadn't joined the podcast yet as my co-host or whatever you want to call it. So it's just me. And again, it was early on. I was still getting my bearings around this thing. Trust me, I'm not perfect today. I'm always improving, but definitely needed some improvement back then. But the reason why I'm doing this is, with just the news, I don't want to bring that all in. This is supposed to be a distraction, but if you pay attention at all to the world's news, you'll see another interest rate hike, right? And recession, inflation, all these very scary words, which at the end of the day means more money out of our pockets, right, going to life. And Disneyland is definitely an optional thing. It's not necessary. Some would argue that it is. But in reality, this is a discretionary thing we all enjoy, right? And we all want to continue to be able to afford this type of vacation. And with all the craziness going on in the world, that is harder and harder every day, it feels like. So again, this is just a tips and tricks on how to save money on your next vacation. So hopefully you either have a little more cash to spend on fun stuff and you can save on the necessary things, or it just means you can just flat out be able to afford it. So I don't know. Hopefully these are useful tips. If you haven't heard it, stick around. If you have heard it already, maybe it's just some friendly reminders on what to do next and how to save a couple of bucks. But go ahead, let's dive in. And here is money-saving tips for the Disneyland Resort. All right, so that brings us to our main segment for this episode, and that is money-saving tips for Disneyland. And I know you may be laughing right now going, oh, that's fresh, man. That is hilarious. Money-saving tips for what? The most expensive place on the planet? And I know it is hard to save money when going to this particular destination. Disneyland is not a cheap date. It is an expensive trip. But there are ways to save money during your travel there. And also maybe some just kind of, and I think, again, most of these are common sense, but it is a good reminder on how to save a few bucks so you can use this either on your next trip or you have a few extra bucks for maybe a Mickey sweatshirt or something, right? If I save you $20, that's $20 more I can go to some fun merch. So anyways, let's just dive into these. Again, most of these are common sense. Some of these you may not know already, but let's go ahead and go down the list. First off, book your flights Tuesday through Thursday. And I'm not saying like book them for like fly out on Tuesday. I'm saying legit, don't go onto your computer until Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday to book your trips because airlines increase their prices Friday through Sunday since most people think of vacations during the weekend. Now, this is straight up messed up. Airlines are like weaponizing the human brain and going, you have your lazy Sunday or your Saturday and you're hanging out at home and you go, you know what? I want to do this more often. I want 7 days of this at the Disneyland Resort. Southwest, Delta, American, they all know this and they tap into that. And so a fare, if you book on the same exact flight, if you booked it on a Sunday, is going to be more expensive if you booked it on a Wednesday. So wait until the middle of the week when you're in the right in the smack dab of your work week and kid soccer practice and all that stuff to book your fares, since you will save a little bit of cash. And most airlines also announce their sale fares on Tuesday. So if they're going to have sales that week, it will most likely be announced on Tuesday. All right, the next tip is going to be a little hard for the planners out there, but some interesting little factoid here, and that is hotels are going to be the cheapest if you book them about 2 weeks out. And I worded that very odd, but don't book your hotel until about 2 weeks out from your check-in date. And data shows that that's the cheapest time to do it. Now, that's hard for me. I usually don't do that. I'm not going to lie, so I don't follow my own advice. But yeah, according to the data, Kayak, Google, they all aggregate this stuff 2 weeks out. And that's because hotels would rather have you in a lower rate, right? So let's say the normal price is $200 a night and they got you in there for $130. They'd rather have that at $130 a night than empty it all, right? Because I think, I'm not entirely sure. I think a hotel needs to be like 85% or more booked to be making money. I know there's like there's a line. And if we're not 85% occupied, then we're losing cash. So kind of some interesting stuff there. But anyways, 2 weeks out. I know this is hard for some folks because you'll have your flights booked out for like 5 months, and then you're like, where are we staying? Where are we staying? But hey, that's what the data shows. Don't blame me. Don't blame me. Blame Google. But yeah. And also, this is not so much a money-saving tip, but this is kind of just advice. And that is book directly. If you can, book directly through the hotel. And let me tell you why. Priceline, Orbitz, all those hotels.com, they offer good rates, but usually have a lot of limitations on that rate. So you may have to pay then, right? And there's no cancellations at all. I know hotels, I know the actual hotel themselves know that you book third party, and they will actually put you in a less desirable room because of that. They're not going to tell you that. They're not going to go, oh, Mr. Johnson, we've got you in the room next to the laundry room or the ice machine because you are cheap and you booked through Orbitz. And they're not going to tell you that. They're just going to be like, hey, Mr. Johnson, we've got you in room 3430, and you're going to show up and go, oh, we can't even get any sleep because the kids keep getting ice. So anyways, that is a little fact for you to consider. And also, if there's something wrong with the room, right? Or there's something wrong with your plans, if you want to go cancel with the hotel, they go, sorry, man, you booked through Priceline. You're going to have to call them and deal with them and change your plans through them. So it comes with a lot of limitations. And this is the great thing. You're going to go, well, I want to save money, right? Hilton's got it at $180. I can get it for $150. If you can show the hotel, and there's usually, you have to search for it on their website. If you can show most hotels, brands, Hilton, Marriott, Hyatt, if you can show them that there's similar terms. So if you show them a hotel's rate, hotels.com, and say, hey, this is $150 and 24-hour cancellation policy, and you go over to the Hyatt and they have it for $30 more. If you can show them that, they will honor that rate. And on top of that, do a 15 to 20% discount on that rate. So they're saying, we've got the best price out there, and if you can beat it, and our computer system or our algorithm, whatever, is not catching up with other sites, we will we'll discount that rate for you. So I've actually done this a couple times, both with Hilton and Hyatt, and they've both honored it. So I found a cheaper rate on, I don't know what it was, and just showed them and sent them a little form. And they sent it back within a few hours and said, yeah, you're right, Mr. Whatever. Here's a 20% discount on your rate. So I got a great hotel for like super discounted. So anyways, that's a really long tip, but go ahead and do that because it'll save you some money and give you the most flexibility booking straight through the hotel brand. And sorry, one more, and this is one I don't even have in my notes. You get points that way. So if you're kind of loyal, and if you find a hotel you love down in Disneyland and you stay directly with that hotel and book directly with them, by the third or fourth trip, you'll probably have enough points to get a couple nights free on your next trip. So that's also something to consider, are those loyalty programs. And this is kind of common sense, but if you're looking to save some money, do not book a Disneyland hotel. And that includes the Paradise Pier Hotel, the Disneyland Hotel, and the Grand Californian. And let me tell you why it's probably even not worth the exorbitant cost. And if you have the money and you want to do something big for your family, by all means, book it, right? It's $500-$600 a night. And if you've got that kind of cash, number one, good for you. Number two, do it. It's a blast. It's themed. It's great. It's all the Disney magic, and you never leave that bubble, and it's amazing. I've done it, but it's awesome. But if you're looking to save money on this trip, and you don't feel too bad, and I'm trying to say is that Disneyland's so compact. The Anaheim itself is so small compared to Orlando and Disney World and Universal out there. It's so easy to book a hotel for a couple $100 a night versus the $600, and it's an additional 5-minute walk. And it's because everything's just so there. It's Harbor Boulevard. That's all you need to know. Harbor Boulevard, if you got a hotel on that road, you're within 15, 20 minutes max walk. And, so if you've got the money to book at another extra $400 a night and you want to walk 2 minutes, then by all means stay on property. But your money can go a lot farther staying off property, and you don't get that much more convenience by staying on property. So if that makes you feel a little better about not staying on site, you can explain to your kids, listen, Timmy, buddy, when you start working, you'll understand the value of money, and Pops is going to be booking the hotel 10 minutes down the road with continental breakfast and a shuttle to the park. So anyways, that's common sense, but don't book Disneyland Hotel if you want to save some money. Next up, we've got a little shout out to a small company. You may have heard of it, a little startup called Google. Use their tools. If you want to be number one, you want your search history to be used to sell to other companies and use as a product. It's a double whammy here. It's great. It's you win both ways. I know many of us hate Google, but it's kind of a necessary evil. You got to use it. What else are you going to use? Ask Jeeves or Bing. For the love of God, no one uses Bing. But anyways, use Google. It's a fantastic product. Put on incognito mode. I don't know if that makes you feel, I don't know if it does anything. Makes you feel better. I don't know. But Google Flights is an extremely powerful tool. You can compare prices between most airlines except for Southwest and JetBlue. I may be missing a couple, but those are the main ones that aren't included in that. You have to go directly to their website to see fares. But it's also going to show you pricing trends. So you can pop in your dates. Let's say you want to go March 14th through the 18th. And you can pop those in. It's going to tell you, hey, this is a good time to buy, or these prices are typical for your dates, or these prices are low, you should book now. So there's a lot of data in that little free search tool, and it can make you feel better about what you're paying for those flights. And also, Google's kind of got a built-in, it's not called, so that's called Google Flights, right? What I just told you, literally just Google Flights, and it's going to come up. This next thing it's not called Google Hotels. It's just kind of built into the search thing. So what I do, and this is the easiest way to search hotels, is, God, it sounds like I'm explaining this too. Again, I know you probably know how to use this already, but I'm just going to go through it. If you just go into the Google bar, Grandma, go to the search bar. If you go to the Google thing and you just type in Anaheim Hotels, that's all you got to do. Anaheim Hotels, it's going to come up with this cool tool. It's got dates on there. You can plug in your dates. And again, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to compare all the different hotels in the area and go, hey, looks like a good rate, or hey, prices seem to be falling, or you should book in the next week. It should be whatever. So it's just got a lot of data on there. Again, gives you more data than you need to make sure you're making an informed decision on your hotel/flight booking. Next tip is if you're going to Disneyland, consider going off-peak and during the week. And by off-peak, I mean kind of an off-peak season. So you're going to save so much money going during February and a Monday through Thursday trip versus going a Thursday through Sunday or Friday through Sunday trip in the middle of July. And you're just going to save on everything. Actually, you're going to save on Disneyland tickets because they have peak pricing now. So they got it based on days and how booked they are and how busy the park is. So you can pay as little as like $110 a day all the way up to $150 a day. So there's a pretty big difference there. And you can save some serious cash, especially if you're bringing a family on tickets alone, not including also hotels and flights tend to be cheaper during the week as well. Unfortunately, there's not really many slow seasons anymore. Back in the day, you could find, again, like a week in February or a week in January where it was just slow, right? There was like way less people in the park, and that's not really the case anymore. It's pretty much busy all throughout the year, but it's less busy if you don't go. Okay, I'm just going to tell you the times not to go. If you can control it, do not go during these times. Summer, because number one, it feels like you're on the surface of the sun and you're being punished for something that you don't even know you did, but God is punishing you for being on this earth. Number two is Christmas week. that is, it's a death sentence. If you want to keep your sanity and enjoy your family by the end of this week, do not go during Christmas week. Thanksgiving week, same thing. That whole week is terrible. It's terrible. Why do that to yourself? Why spend $5,000-$6,000 just to feel terrible and angry? New Year's week, another terrible time to go, and holiday weekend. So any kind of holiday weekend, like you got an extra Monday, I get it. You got an extra PTO day. You don't need to take PTO. I understand you get a holiday, but you have to understand everyone else is thinking that same thing. So if you don't mind that, if I had to pick out of all those things I just listed, I'd take that just Monday, right? I'd take that MLK or President's Day or whatever. I'd take that Monday over Christmas week. So if you have to pick any of those, that's the less busy of all of them. But again, if you can avoid them, do it. All right, next up, we've got a little ticket buying advice, a little tip here, and I swear we're not sponsored by these people. I wish we were, but we're not. But Undercover Tourist is a fantastic place to buy your tickets. And let me tell you why. Number one, they're 100% legit. I've used them a million times, and they work every time. Never had a problem with them. But they also can save you up to like $22 a person if you're booking a 3-day park hopper. And that's some money. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but again, when you're spending a heck of a lot of money already and you save $100 on your tickets, I'll take it, especially since there's no such thing as discounts through Disney. They don't really discount stuff. So if you have to spend the money, might as well save a little bit with Undercover Tourist. And I'm just shouting that there might be some other discount ticket sites. I'm only shouting them out because I've used them personally and I've never had a problem. Also, another great, cool thing they do is they offer a more generous return policy than Disney. Most of the time, let's say you guys book a couple $1,000s worth of tickets through Disney and something comes up, or hey, wife lost her job, or husband, hey, something bad happens and you want your money back. Most of the time Disney goes, sorry, you can use your ticket whenever you want in the next couple of years, but we're not giving you money back. Whereas Undercover Tourist will give you that money back if you need that to happen. So great flexibility with their cancellation policy, and you'll save a little money during it. All right, the next two tips are, again, a little more common sense stuff, but I'm just going to shout them out since they're important, and that is eat at counter service restaurants while you're at the park. Of course, those sit-down restaurants cost more money just because of the experience. You have to add tip on that guy, and the plates are a little more pricey than if you're going to order some burgers at the counter service restaurant. And at the end of the day, Disneyland has some amazing food, and you're not missing out on too much choosing the counter service versus the sit-down. And for multiple reasons. One is quality of food. If there's not a giant difference, it's probably not worth the extra 25-30% of sitting down. And also time. If you guys are on a limited time budget, you got a couple days at the parks, and you want to get as much as you can into those 2 days, wasting time at a sit-down restaurant is can be a little frustrating, right? So it takes an hour and a half to eat versus 35 minutes. You guys lose a lot of line time. Yeah, I know the mom and dads out there is like, oh, darn, I have less time to wait in line? Shoot. But anyways, if you're trying to get those rides in, if you want to, fit that Cars ride in the last minute or some other big ride, your kid wants to ride Matterhorn, that time is valuable. So choose the counter service. But if you really want to treat yourself to a sit-down restaurant, let me recommend Wine Country. Is it Trattoria? I don't know. Wine Country. We call it Wine Country because that last word is a little confusing. But that's in Disney's California Adventure, and that is some great Italian food for, I think, a very fair price. It's very similar to Olive Garden price-wise, but better food. I mean, Olive Garden's not that hard to beat, but they have some great gluten-free options, great regular options, and again, it's not going to break the bank. It's not like $40 a plate. It's probably around $18, and it's some really good food. And another tip related to kind of eating is eat breakfast at the hotel. Breakfast at the park is expensive. If you've got free breakfast at that hotel, that continental breakfast, what's up, Holiday Inn, other things, Hyatt Place, Marriott, this typical sit down. You get that waffle station, you get that weird kind of soggy bacon, you get the toast machine that's fun to use for the first couple days, and you're like, I want my regular toaster at home, and you get the kind of like, hey, this yogurt's kind of cold, but it's not really cold. I don't know if I should eat this, but I'm really hungry and I'm really tired, so I'm just going to do it. That experience, honestly, go with the safest thing. Don't get sick, but like, maybe go with the really crummy oatmeal they have at the hotel, because Disneyland breakfast is decent, but it's expensive. So you can save $50 every morning by just eating something at the hotel. And if you want to spend a little something and get maybe upgrade from the continental breakfast, maybe go to Starbucks, either in downtown Disney or downtown Disney. I think that's the better one. It's giant, and you can actually I think you can mobile order at that one, and you can't. I know for sure you can't in the parks, but I think you can mobile order at the I may be wrong. But anyways, you'll save a little money there than the Disney pricing, and you get some food and some coffee. But anyways, at the end of the day, avoid breakfast at the parks if you're looking to save money. All right, we have another food-related tip. I'm just obsessed with food right now, and that is bring your own snacks. Again, another common sense tip here, but it's really easy to kind of get caught up in that Disney magic. And let me tell you, it is easy to get hungry at those dang parks because they legit invented like this smello something. They have fans all throughout the park blowing popcorn smell at you, blowing waffle cone scent, churro scent. They blow that stuff in your face, and boy, do you get hungry. I mean, I'll eat breakfast, and then 45 minutes later, I'm like, God, I'm starving. When are we going to eat? And I just stuffed my face with, gluten-free Mickey waffles and it was real carb heavy, guys. How can you be hungry, Caleb? But anyways, bacon, waffles, all that stuff. I stuff my face and I'm hungry 45 minutes later, and that because they just tempt you. They tempt you throughout the whole day. So save yourself some cash by bringing some protein bars, some pretzels, some chips. Especially with kids, man, they get snacky and cranky, and you will save so much money because a typical Disneyland snack averages around $5 a pop. So you got to get one for one kid, you got to get one for the other because they're going to fight over it. So you got $10 there. Then mom's hungry, you got 15. So you can easily spend $20 for a non-meal time. You got just snack. And then in an hour, you're going to be spending $60 for lunch. So save some cash, go to the Target. There's a Target right down the street, and stock up on snacks there. Or you can always Amazon that junk to the hotel, and they'll drop it off at the front desk, and then you can pick it up. And if you didn't know that, do it. It's amazing. We do it with water. So if you want like water bottles, we'll just Amazon it to prime it to the hotel and drink water in our room. That way, it's amazing. All right. And our final tip is don't pay for Genie Plus. And this is the new system. This is the Fast Pass system that they're trying to shove down our throats and charge us for at $20 per person per day for something that was free not too long ago. And it's not even that. So even if it was a great product and I'd be like, save money and don't use it just because you want to save money. No, I'm saying don't use this because number one, I just hate the system. It's crazy that they're doing this to us. And second, it doesn't even work. It doesn't work very well. People have already pointed out it crashes all the time. I just read some poor guy's story on, I think it was on Reddit or Instagram, that he paid for his family to have this thing, and they were only able to use it 3 times throughout the day because it was so busy, and the system kept crashing, and they were confused, and things weren't working right. So don't spend the money on a very young product. And who knows, I might change my tune in 6 months when they've got this thing fleshed out. But so far, it's not proven very reliable or useful. And we know Disney, and people have shown this, and this is not some weird conspiracy. I'm out in my office, like fiercely clicking on the computer, like, oh, tell me the bad news. It's pretty proven from vloggers and people just going to the parks. Disney's inflating wait times on the app now to try and push you to pay for the service. So they want you to pay for this by showing that Pirates of the Caribbean 65 minutes, and then people get in line, they wait 20, and they're like, why did you say 65? And it's kind of messed up. So I'm hoping it's either something wrong with the system and it's just broken, and I'm really hoping it's not them trying to mislead people to spend $100 for a family per day, which is unbelievable. So again, if you want to save money, don't book this stinking thing. Don't pay for the service. Wait in line. It's most likely going to be less than what's posted on that standby wait time, and play some games in line, eat those snacks that we talked about earlier, and don't pay for Genie Plus. All right, current day Caleb here, ending the episode. But first off, before I do, I was very passionate. That last advice there about Genie Plus, I was very passionate that you did not use it. I've clearly changed my mind on that since then. Early on, I guess it was really rough. I'm not remembering completely, but it's useful now, unfortunately. The crowds are back at full force, it feels like, and so wait times are very long because of Lightning Lane and Genie Plus. So many people use it that standby wait just triples in a matter of minutes. So maybe disregard that last piece of advice. I left it in only because I was so passionate about it and I was kind of laughing at myself looking back. So you can see how things age. Advice, maybe 4, 5, 6 months ago definitely changes as time goes on. With that said, that is the end of our episode. Again, thanks so much for sticking around and listening. We appreciate you guys. If you aren't already, follow us over on Instagram at Market House Podcast and Twitter at Market House Pod. You can follow along over there on our adventures, which is a lot of Disneyland trips and other things and fun stuff, fun travel things. If you haven't already, consider leaving a review on Apple Podcast and Spotify. That would be such a nice thing to do for us. It really does help the show, and it just shows, just lets us and remind us what you guys think about everything. So again, thanks in advance. Appreciate that, and have a great week. Bye.